Hi everyone, Matt here, and today we are continuing on with HiveSwap FriendSim. When we last left off, we started Volume 9, and in Shahad's Path. Now we are going with Asdija Kinlax. There's like no music at all. After what feels like way too long, the vehicle slows down and you take the opportunity to tumble out of your slime jail onto the dusty ground, picking yourself up before hurrying away from the station before you can get spotted. A little while later, you're standing at the beginning of a massive canyon and your awful train ride almost feels worth it. The canyon stretches on endlessly, miles of yawning chasms and winding ravines at your feet. It's enough to make your mouth hang open in awe after spending so much time in various grotty parts of the city. The sight of such pristine natural beauty touches your heart. You feel somehow inspired, like you could belt out an area or draw a masterpiece if you tried. But before you can begin exploring your hidden creative depths, you're distracted by noises coming from not too far away. You're not alone. You know what this means. Chance to get yourself more of that sweet, sweet friendship. After so many successful companionship ventures, you're thirsty for more. Pick up your jaw and go investigate. The sounds lead you towards a trail along the side of the canyon, which in turn leads you down to a roomy platform not that much lower than where you started. There's a series of sharp outcrops jutting out of the plateau. And perched atop the highest one is a figure dramatically framed against the moonlight. First you think he's peering moodily into the distance, but then you realize he's looking through some kind of contraption on his face. There. Recording coordinates. Look around. There doesn't seem to be anyone else here. So, what you heard was this fellow muttering to himself, you guess? I see. He's so wrapped up in whatever it is that he's doing that he hasn't noticed you yet. The guy has got to be hankering after some company, being all by his lonesome out here in the middle of nowhere. You're sure of it. Wave and say hello. Sporting your winning smile, you call out a greeting and give a jaunty wave. That gets his attention. Well, would you look what the perp beast dragged in? Are you lost? That depends on your definition of lost. I prefer to think of whatever you're doing as taking the scenic route, just like indefinitely. Your new acquaintance, and hopefully soon to be pal, snorts, unimpressed. But it would be better if you did that somewhere else. Better for me, I mean, which is the most important issue currently at hand. Let's face it. I still have preparations to make, and I'm running out of time. You're kind of cramping my style here. Preparations? For the game, obviously. Starting any minute now. You have no idea what he's talking about. Seriously? Do you not know about You don't know about Duel Strifers? Wow, you're even more of an empty-headed pleb than I thought. That's not a very fair thing to say. Sure, you might have made a habit of running headfirst into stupidly dangerous situations, but there's no reason for him to assume... Your voice is drowned out by a crackling sound. He's levitating down from his perch towards you, sparks of energy stirring the sand up into a cloud. After meeting Sirva and Kepram, you've come to expect psionic powers from trolls with yellow blood by now, but it still kind of takes you aback. You stumble backwards, falling on your ass. The troll is unbothered by your spill, continuing to address you while you're sprawled on the ground. I'll explain. Duel Strifers pits Alternia's best and brightest against each other in a timed event designed to reveal the most skilled among the group. Which would be me, of course. That goes without saying. He tells you a bunch of other stuff about game mechanics that, to be honest, go straight over your head. He's apparently not in enough of a rush that he can't stop what he's doing to outline his plans to you, some random passerby. A fairly detailed manner at that. He seems pleased to have an audience. Actually, wow! This friendship is barely even off the ground and you're already doing great. You get back on your feet and nod along sagely, trying to understand all his ramblings about strategy and whatnot. Then you notice a blinking light. It's coming from the screen over his eye. Huh. Interesting. A scouter can't retrieve any data on your species at all. He leans forward and looks at you. Really looks at you. Up until this point, he'd been paying more attention to his own voice and whatever readings he's been getting on his device, but now he's focused fully on you. It's starting to fluster you a little, actually, that is, until his mouth twists into a smirk. You get a glimpse of a single jagged tooth. You know, it's technically possible to join in teams of two, and now you're here. Is he saying what you think he might be saying? Sadly, you clarify whether he's asking you to join the game as his partner. Ha! Sure, I just love teaming up with clueless nerds like you. No. You'd be a nice element of the surprise, though. I could use you as a collateral resource. Fodder. A lackey. What do you say? That doesn't sound nearly as flattering. That's an opportunity to help, and you've founded so many great friendships on doing whatever favors random strangers have wanted you to do for them already. Why stop now? You'll be the best lackey ever. The title might not be much, but that doesn't mean you can't excel at it. You tell him you accept his offer. Excellent. By the way, I'm Asdija Kinlax. But you must have known that already. You're not sure why you would. Maybe he's some kind of big shot? Come to think of it, that name does ring a bell. You've heard before, when you were in the middle of infiltrating a bandit hideout with a mercenary. Kanil. You met my mate Sprint? You must have gotten on her good side, or you wouldn't be standing here talking to me. Because you'd be minced into the ground finer than grub paste. He's grinning like he's really proud and fond about Kanil. Being the sort of girl who'd make mincemeat out of someone as soon as speak to them. If he wasn't talking about her literally murdering you, you might find this reaction endearing. Hang on. If he already has a partner, why isn't she here? Asdija expression sours abruptly. My partner isn't here because she didn't make our agreed upon rendezvous time. Says the word partner in an overdone, exasperated huff. As if he thinks she might be listening from behind a boulder somewhere and he can somehow shame her into appearing. You remember what Polipa said about mercenary duos often being quadranted pairs, i.e. romantically involved. Did his girlfriend stand him up? Yikes. Maybe it's better that you haven't been promoted to partner status if it meant getting involved in another couple's spat. You've had quite enough of that already. You hope they aren't fighting. As the Jade glares at you, the exact nature of our quadrant is none of your business, frankly. Now come on, we're wasting time. Steps off the edge of the plateau, descending in a crackle of energy and floating you to the canyon along with him. It's a terrifying ride, but the view it affords is pretty amazing. Soon you reach the bottom. We should keep going. There's someone else in this valley. We'll get the drop on them if we move fast. He grins confidently, his coat flapping behind him. There isn't any wind down here, though. Is he flapping his own coat with his sigh for dramatic effect? Heh. First blood to Keenlax. You blink, tentatively. You repeat, blood? Yes, blood. He says it the same way he enunciated the name of this competition earlier, like it should have been painfully obvious. Like I told you, our aim is to take out our opposition, swiftly and painfully. To win, we have to be the last team standing in this entire canyon. Weren't you listening to when I explained earlier? God damn it. You'd been proceeding under the assumption that this was kind of elaborate competitive LARP. Like, solve some puzzles, get out of the giant canyon before other guy type of deal. For the other guy type of deal. Hold on. Perhaps wrestle your competitors into submission if you run into them, but no. This game involves actual violence. Probably shouldn't be surprised. You've been on Alternian long enough now to discern that boy. Trolls sure do love killing. You've made friends with plenty of trolls who have less bloodthirsty hobbies, though. You ask him whether he's ever considered getting into excessive bodily force poetry, or screaming sick beats. Please, you're kidding, right? Now is no time for joking around. Don't tell me you're already getting frosty strut pods. I can't work with someone with such a flimsy sense of conviction. You assure him that, no, of course not. Your strut pods are as toasty as all heck. But he's no longer paying attention to you. His counter glints. There! He flashes past you before you can blink, riding the waves of his sigh to a collection of rocks hanging behind you. Target acquired. Nice try thinking you could outsmart me by laying in wait and launching an ambush. Cowardly move, and sloppy, very sloppy. And prepare to get owned. Resistance is oh fuck. Abruptly, as the Joe freezes, you hesitate, unsure as to what sort of threat you're dealing with here. But then a troll girl with a crueling blue symbol on her shirt pops up from behind the rocks. She giggles menacingly, making Azuja turn towards you. His expression is blank. His nifty brain power is now under your competitor's control. Draco Azuja's sentiment, oh fuck, you need to do something, fast. We have the harebrained thought that maybe you can grab Azuja and physically wrest him from her control. You launch yourself toward them in a mad dash, attempting to call out a chilling battle cry, but it comes out as more of a pathetically broken yell. The girl laughs again, as Azuja's eyes flash brighter than you'd seen so far, almost blinding. Oh hell, those are straight up eye lasers, aren't they? They're really powerful. Holy shit. You've met some strong trolls, but this kind of power is something else. If Azuja were a character in a video game and you were to assign him a quantifiable number to measure his power, at a level perhaps, the number would be very high, is all you're saying. Azuja's laser shoot at a point above you, scoring a deep dash in the rock and sending rubble toppling downwards. Reach out, grabbing at Azuja's coat. You have to get out of here. The girl doesn't stop you, merely leaping out of the way of the certain doom that's hurtling rapidly towards you. You think you see something out of the corner of your eye. Some last-ditch hope at not getting squashed as flat as a grub cake. You race towards it. First thought when you next open your eyes is that death has finally come to tenderly cradle you in its sweet, loving embrace. You quickly realize that you're in a cave, not the afterlife, and that the reason you can even see anything right now is because the area around you is brightened by a light coming from Astage's scouter. Through sheer dumb luck, you must have run towards the single safe spot in the entire ravine. This hole in the ground. It's as if this hole was sitting there carved out of the rock, waiting to be your escape route. You might even say this hole was made for you. Fuck! Gwen's covering your ears. Could he keep it down, maybe? Your nerves are a little shot from almost dying from the umpteenth time this week. No, I will not keep it down. Curses. Can't believe this. Who does that loot blood think she is? Does she realize who she just messed with? Wow, he looks really mad. Instinctively, you reach out to execute that slow face pat that trolls seem to find so soothing, but he slaps your hand away. What do you think you're doing? I already told you, I have Moirail. Stammer out an apology. It just seemed like the right thing to do. Plus, you thought Connell was his mate sprint? He seems to realize what he just said. A hint of yellow touches his cheek, just barely visible in the light. That's what I said. I already have a mate sprint. Pretty sure you heard him right the first time. And you're also pretty sure that you're also pretty sure that those are two different sorts of relationships. But you let the subject drop. No need to rile up your new friend more than he already is. Your shush pap might have been rejected, but the attempt seems to snap him out of whatever pissed off funk he's gotten himself into. Let's get out of here. Follows the path of the cave. Can't he just blast you both out? Don't be stupid. If I did that, it would cause a cave-in. Are you that eager to get crushed? Good point. You're acting just like Connell. So ready to rush in without a game plan. If he means this as an insult, its effect is kind of lost. He sounds more wistful than irritated. You walk in silence for a while. As you make your way further into the cave, you realize that the walls aren't blank, like you previously thought, but covered in complicated carvings. Cave troll art, you wonder? I know what you're thinking. That life as a prince among trolls must be an inviolable one. Snap to attention. Yes, of course. You were definitely thinking about him and his life story just then. I don't expect someone like you to understand. You're obviously a completely average person who will live out their life in perfect mediocrity. But not me. You don't know what it's like to be born so gifted. Completely average, that's you alright. Try your best to be sympathetic. Having grand powers must make things really hard. What? No way, it's fucking awesome. But, as you've clearly seen, it can attract unwanted attention from pathetic individuals who aren't nearly as talented themselves, who are desperate to have some unbeatable psionics in their corner. To be honest, the Empire is no different. It's not like the rebels are much better. Connell and I don't really care, one way or the other. We're just here to off chumps and get money. We look out for ourselves here first and foremost. But eventually, you'll be sent off-planet to do the bidding of the Empress, just like everyone else. Okay, you can see why having no say in the matter kinda sucks. Isn't there opportunity to do cool shit in space too? Astage's face draws up in a weary expression. Weary. Right. Yeah, there's someone else calling all the shots. You keep walking. After what feels like hours, his counter flashes again. We're here. He lets the wall have it with his eye lasers. With a resounding roar, it crumbles away. Aside from the spot he destroyed, the rest of the cave is intact. Moonlight spills into the space through the impromptu exit. It's over. We were stuck down there for so long that the game has ended. Meaning, Yard thinks, this was a disaster. He's definitely not going to want to be your friend after losing this competition he's so invested in. And last team standing, which makes us winners. The winners. Heh. I knew it. That blue blood loser might have had a stroke of good luck, but she was no match for someone at my station. My victory was a foregone conclusion from the start. Bringing you along was an excellent idea. Your recklessness really came in handy back there. He's thanking you realize? Or something close to it. Modestly, you assure him that it was no problem. Prince knows when to give credit where credit is due. Celebration is in order, I think, once we collect our prize. His prize? Fuck yes. Duel Strifers offer an impressive cash reward to whoever wins. You'll get a cut as well, of course. Whoa, money. This will be the first time you've laid your hands on the stuff since you crash-landed. Maybe you'll be able to finally purchase a warm meal, or clothing that isn't from somebody else's closet. More importantly than the money, though, is that you've proven you aren't a complete fuck-up. You've earned Asaja's trust, and also his friendship. Victory! Screw this. You know what? You're better than this. Who does this guy think he is, trying to turn you into his minion? Everyone keeps expecting you to be useless, and you're tired of it. You've accomplished great things, you say, stamping your feet, kicking up a real hullabaloo. You're a big deal on your home planet. People practically quiver in their boots when you walk past. And even if you weren't a big deal, even if you were the smallest fry around, you're pretty sure you could take whatever he could dish out. He's just a really nerd asshole who looks like he fell out of the IT department straight into a discount bin of bad Matrix cosplay cast-offs. You have no idea what you're doing. Absolutely nothing you've said about yourself is true. You're spewing hot air and pure vitriol, running on the modicum confidence you'd built up, bluffing your way through the variety of mishaps you've encountered before now. You throw up your hands when you're done, both out of exasperation and as a kind of ending flourish to your little speech. There's a deafening rumble behind you. When you turn around, it's just in time to see one of the outcrops shudder dramatically into a pile of detritus. Your eyes go wide. Either the rock was already weakened and chose this moment to break, resulting in the best coincidence ever, or you have secret telekinetic powers of your own that you've never known about till now. Whichever it is, grants your venting session a healthy dose of gravitas. Esaja looks at you with a complicated expression on his face, like he's mad at you, but also like you've just paid him a really nice compliment. What a brazen proposition. What? Proposition? If you're propositioning anything, it's for him to consider you an equal rather than some kind of sidekick. That's all. Let me tell you something, alien. I've heard things through the spherical fruit string about someone recently in my line of work who caused quite a stir recently. Lights have been blowing up, saying a gold-blooded girl assassinated a sea dweller. I had reason to suspect she'd show herself here today. I was looking forward to seeing if she's as good as the rumors say she is. A gold-blood girl. That's what the alerts say. Was one of the best mercenaries in the business. I know better. They must have been wearing a disguise. Points a finger at you. You, despite not being of Alternian origin, have a record. You've shown up here, to a dueling session, in a rumpus robe and nub stilts. He indicates your flowing gown and heels, which could easily be another disguise to throw the drones off your scent. And, as you so graciously just demonstrated, you're powerful. You're easily the most suspicious person I've come across here yet. Who's to say you're not the mysterious killer? You realize that he's been floating gradually higher and higher in the air, like as he's talking to you, till he's hovering over you almost predatorily. Shit, what have you done? If it's a fight you want, it's a fight you'll get. His eyes light up, and a bright blue beam explodes the rock next to you. Turn tail and run. But he follows, trailing along behind you like some kind of angry helium balloon. He doesn't stop shooting at you, and you can feel the lasers rush past you, rustling your hair and clothes as they cut through the air. Gosh, he's powerful. Takes your breath away. You'd be in awe if you weren't busy running for your life. You almost wish you had some sort of device that would measure just how powerful he is. Except, no, not really. On second thought, knowing his exact power level would probably be so frustrating that you'd immediately break whatever device that would call for with your bare hands. Strong as he is, though, he can't help but notice that none of his shots are at all close to hitting you. It's more like he's trying to intimidate you, provoke you into fighting back. You have to get away from him as quickly as possible, before any of his blasts actually connect. Before you know, your scurrying feet have taken you back to where you started. Train station. Would you quit running around like a cluck beast without a severed think pan? You came on to me, and now you won't follow through? Get back here and fight! You seem to have managed to both pick a fight and hit on him simultaneously. Maybe he thinks you want that hate man spades thing with him? God. You just want to be friends, and then you might have lost your temper a little. This is all just a big misunderstanding. He isn't listening to you. Another blast zips past you, dangerously close to your ear this time. You scan the area frantically for cover. There, structure near the tracks that looks like it might be some kind of mechanized ticket booth. You dive behind it. I'm growing impatient, alien. Cease this game of hunting. Sequester and face me. Beam hits your makeshift shield, blowing a hole straight through it. You stumble backwards, close to the tracks. Oh no. Oh fuck. This is it. You're going to be murdered in cold blood by a guy who can shoot pure energy out of his eyes, and there's nothing you can do about it. Squeeze your eyes shut, bracing for impact. All of a sudden, there's a distant rushing sound. With all the running and laser dodging, you'd forgotten what the station was even for in the first place. The train is arriving. Maybe someone on it will be willing to help you. Not like Alternians seem to have a good track record of helping folks in need out of the goodness of their hearts, but damn it, it's the only chance you've got. As it does, distracted by the train's arrival for only a moment before turning towards you again. Then a figure climbs out of one of the train carriages. A figure that's large and hulking, and one that you recognize. Astija? What the hell are you doing? Why are you attacking my friend? Friend? You know this globe's for Sponge? Why didn't you tell me? They're the assassin I've been looking for. What? No, you idiot. They're no assassin. When I met them, they freaked out over a little blood. They've never even killed before. What? What about their powers? Anno squints at you, like she's thinking very hard about what your more exceptional qualities might be. Well, they're pretty good at falling on their ass, freaking out in the middle of a crisis, being squishable. Asaja's expression goes cold. His eyes stop flashing. But he still looks like he could kill you with his glare alone. I see. So that's why you were running away. You were lying. An immature ruse. He can't help but feel a little bad for pulling the wool over his eyes. Even though you were fearing for your life until just a few seconds ago. Asaja seems to trust Kano's word implicitly. Now that you've been exposed as nothing but a regular Joe, he seems to have lost all interest in you. Kano, I was beginning to think you'd skipped out on this event. Of course not. I missed the Omniscuttle caravan. And the desert has shitty reception, so I couldn't call. You know that. That's right. Well, I'm glad you made it. I've let myself get distracted by this peon for long enough. Let's go strife some losers, own their nooks in battle, and profit. Fuck yes. I'd love to say in chat, kid, that there's a bunch of coals in that canyon. With my name all over them. Later. You watch wistfully as they set off back towards the canyon. If only you hadn't lost your temper and lied out your ass like an idiot, you might have been walking along with them. Instead, you're here alone on the ground. New friendships have slipped through your fingers like all this desert sand. Left alone. Climb up and surprise him. Eagerly, you clamber up the side of the rock. Wow, this drop is pretty intense. But it's nothing you can handle without plenty of determination and frantic scrambling. Finally make it to the top. You're about to haul yourself up so you can stand, fully ready to introduce yourself and let this guy have it with you. Have it with the geniality? Really show him how amicable you can be. Before you can do that, though, he swirls around, trench coat and long hair whipping in a wide arc. All your clumsy scrambling at the rock face must have clued him into your presence. Heh, did you really think you could sneak up on me? His eyes flash, literally. They flicker from blue and turquoise and back again in quick succession. You don't know it's the pure white energy cackling at his fingertips until you're already in the air. When Caprum lifted you, it was like getting yanked up by the scruff of your shirt. This is smoother somehow, like you just stepped onto a strong breeze. Doesn't really change the outcome, though. You eye the ground below you nervously. Think again. Wait, you weren't engaging in any sneaking around. Honest, or well, you were, but you didn't mean anything malicious by it. You were just after some quality hangouts. Fortunately for you, he doesn't seem very moved by your heartfelt entreaty. A likely story. You were looking to gank my data to get a frond up on the game. Don't try to deny it. You don't know anything about any game, but before you can explain further, you're unceremoniously released. You run through quite the spectrum of emotions as you plunge downward. But the strongest by far is regret. Regret that you'll emerge from this altercation sans the use of your limbs if you're lucky. It also sans a potential new friend. Bye. Anyways, that is all for this time on HiveSwap FriendSim. If you liked the video, like it, and if you want to see more of my content, subscribe. And yeah, have a good day. Do what you do best.